One thing Mike Tyson, George Foreman, and Deontay Wilder have in common is their insane punching power, and maximize it. I am going to explain everything you can do to get a stronger punching power in boxing or mixed martial arts. Let's talk about what determines your punching power. The first thing that determines how hard you punch is your form and technique, and the second thing is genetics. The third thing that dictates your punching power is your strength and core. There are a few other ways which we will cover. As far as we know, you cannot change your genetics, so let's talk about some legit ways to improve your punching power. And accuracy, because there is no point of punching hard when you don't have good accuracy in your punches. The first tip you can do for your punching power is get in a proper boxing stance and learn how to punch. To throw a perfect punch, you need to pivot your legs and rotate your hips while punching. Make sure you are not pivoting while throwing a jab because it can be useless most of the time. Once you do that, you should make sure to extend your arms completely. The reason why you should not stop the punch midway is because it won't generate good power. If you extend it completely, you will notice an instant difference. Just try it out on a heavy bag to feel the difference. Getting in a proper boxing stance is also easy. Just put one leg to the front and one to the back. Make sure to adjust your body correctly in front of a mirror and you are good to go. So the first few tips will be about punching power and the rest of the tips will be about accuracy. The second thing you can do to improve your punching power for combat sports like boxing or mixed martial arts is shadow boxing with lightweights or shadow boxing with resistance bands. This is an amazing way to improve punching power and it really works. You can also use any light object if you don't have dumbbells. Make sure that the dumbbells are less than 6 pounds because that is a good weight. Any more than that can get you injured or slow down your movement by a lot. Yeah, you could do it with 10 pounds or even 15, but don't do it for a lot of reps. Once you start shadow boxing with dumbbells or light weights, your hands feel lighter and you can feel a difference in speed and power. It is important to remember that speed is very important for improving punching power. Let's talk about the third tip on how to improve punching power in boxing. It is plyometrics and explosive workouts. Doing workouts like explosive pull-ups or explosive shoulder workouts like landmine press. Landmine press can be very effective because it is like punching and you can pivot your foot and use your hip rotation at the same time. I recommend this exercise. Plyometrics can help you a lot because they train your muscle to get stronger and it is a simple logic. If you get stronger, your punching power also gets more powerful. Strengthening your muscles with explosive workouts are the best way since they don't make you stiff like a bodybuilder and you can maintain your stamina and strength. Most fighters or boxers should do higher reps if they want to get better at boxing or mixed martial arts. The reason why high reps and light weights are better is because it improves your endurance and fast twitch muscle fibers. Let's talk about the fourth tip on how to improve punching power for striking sports like boxing or mixed martial arts. The fourth tip is training your legs and your core. The reason why you should train your legs for strength is because most of your punching power comes from your legs or your core. You use your legs to pivot and generate power. You should be training your hamstrings and your quads. You don't really have to worry a lot about it. Just do some squats and explosive lunges. They are more than enough. You can also add in some explosive leg workout like jump squats. Let's talk about why you should train your core. Legs and core combined together to generate punching power, and making your core stronger can also make you more durable. They will improve punching power and also help you get better overall at boxing at the same time. Let's talk about the sixth tip to improve punching power. The sixth tip to improve punching power is to increase your punching speed. The reason why you should increase your punching speed is because speed helps with power. If you try punching slow, you will see that your punches are not generating much power, but if you punch fast, you can notice an instant difference in your power. You will generate a lot more power if you punch faster. Just try it out on a heavy bag. The eighth tip to improve punching power for boxing is training bag work consistently. There is a good reason why most people spend most of their time on the heavy bag. It helps with punching power, accuracy, technique, and form at the same time. And you can also improve your speed by repetition. Repetition is the key in combat sports like boxing or mixed martial arts. Your body has to get used to repetition. Once you do it for a long period of time, you will see good difference. It takes a while to develop punching power. Remember, punching power is also determined by genetics. So you might have a max limit on how hard you can punch, unless you could break your limits or something. Before we move on to how to improve accuracy, let's talk about the last tip on how to improve punching power. It is to punch your opponent without any hesitation. This happens with new people a lot. They are scared to punch a little hard because they don't want to get hit hard either. But if you are going to compete, you should not hesitate to punch your opponent with all your power as long as it is legal. To fix this, all you have to remember is that even if you punch with less power, your opponent is going to punch with all the power he has. You don't want to be out there in the ring getting beat up all the time because you can strike back with full power. You want to be the guy who is knocking people out there in the ring. Before people make excuses about genetics, they should reach their peak potential. Alright, let's talk about how to master accuracy for boxing or striking sports like mixed martial arts. To master accuracy in striking sports, there are many techniques. Let's start off by covering the first tip to improve accuracy for boxing. The first tip to improve accuracy for boxing is to do a lot of mitt work. Mitt work is the best drill out there for accuracy because you are constantly moving and someone keeps moving the mitts at the same time. It improves your body jab, which is something most people are bad at. It makes your boxing combinations and reflexes faster. You can see very fast results if you do mitt work consistently. There is a reason why boxers like Manny Pacquiao, Ryan Garcia, and Floyd Mayweather train mitt work with their coach. They also make you feel good. You don't want to be slow like those Instagram influencers who are posting stories of boxing with their coach or something. Be fast and do it for training instead of flexing. In my opinion, mitt work 2 to 3 times a week is enough. You can do it every day for a few minutes if you know someone who is good at holding them. I feel like it is one of the most fun ways of training in boxing or mixed martial arts because you are using stuff like eye coordination and speed together. Let's talk about the second tip to improve accuracy in boxing, which is partner drills. This is where it starts getting serious. The reason why partner drills are more effective than stuff like hitting the heavy bag is because you are going against a real person who can move around fast and use stuff like footwork and block punches. This is the drill where you get to predict your opponent's moves and actually land a punch while your opponent is using his head and body movement. There are many different ways people train partner drills, but the most common way is one person lands a boxing combination, like a jab cross uppercut hook, and another uppercut while the other person is supposed to block the punches, and then the other person throws a boxing combination which you have to block or slip and use your head movement. If you are put up against someone who is good at slipping, rolling, and weaving, you will learn a lot about accuracy. Remember, no one has perfect accuracy in boxing. Even the best boxers miss many punches. The only thing you can do is to improve it. The best part about accuracy is that you don't need to be born with good genetics or have some special trait. It is something you can master only with training and learning. It can take several years to be a master at accuracy, but as time goes by, you gain experience fighting with different types of fighters. But for most people, it only takes a few months to get fairly good at it. Boxing is not really that hard to learn. It is easy to learn, but it is very hard to fight different opponents because they can be unpredictable. Let's talk about the third tip on how to master accuracy for boxing. The third tip to master accuracy in boxing is developing good timing. This is one of the reasons why many famous boxers often win fights by decisions. Timing also helps with accuracy because there are many situations when your opponent is moving in and out quickly or just moving around at a very fast speed. You have to punch at the right time to connect the hit. It is harder to connect punches when your opponent is tricky and fast. If you are good at timing, you can land a clean hit when your opponent is closing in or when your opponent drops his guard for a second. You can sometimes throw a punch at the right time when your opponent is going to move. To master timing, it takes a lot of dedication, training, and experience. It is more about experience than training. Once you fight different opponents of different height and fighting styles, you will get better at timing. Let's talk about the fourth tip on how to master accuracy for boxing. It is staying calm under hard situations and analyzing your opponent. It works very well if you master this skill. Once your mind is calm, the chances of you landing a clean hit on your opponent increases by a lot. If you are nervous, you will make many mistakes in a fight. If you can know how an opponent fights, like his head movement or footwork, it is way easier to knock him out. You could throw a punch to the right side, and he might accidentally move his head to the right. It happens a lot when the fight is intense. People start to make a lot of mistakes when they are tired. Predicting your opponent's next move is a very essential skill in boxing or mixed martial arts. Let's talk about the next tip to improve accuracy in boxing. This tip is not really talked about, but the tip is training with smaller gloves too. In a fight, you usually use lighter gloves, so your accuracy feels different. It is harder to connect punches if you don't train with smaller gloves sometimes. You don't have to train with smaller gloves most of the time, but if you train with them, you can get used to them, which will benefit you a lot if you want to compete. Try training with lighter gloves and try training with 16-ounce gloves. You can feel the difference. If you use bigger gloves all the time, you won't be that good when you have to compete. While sparring, it is recommended to use 14 or 16-ounce gloves, but for different training, you have to experiment sometimes. Let's talk about the sixth tip on how to improve accuracy for striking sports like boxing or mixed martial arts. Sixth tip is sparring more often. Really master accuracy, you need some real practice in front of someone who's not really holding back like partner drills. Make sure to keep it light. Hard sparring can be beneficial, but you should not do it many times because it can cause injuries and brain damage. You don't want to be out here getting brain damage for a sport unless you want to turn professional or compete at higher levels. Light sparring teaches you everything about boxing: head movement, footwork, accuracy, aim, speed, and reflexes. It is the most common thing used in boxing. Every boxer in history has done sparring. We know it's beneficial. Let's talk about the seventh tip to master accuracy for boxing or mixed martial arts, which is using the reflex bag and the double end bag. Using different types of boxing bags can help a lot with accuracy any combat sport. You can use it for a few minutes a day and get better at using them. It is always hard to try out different things in boxing when you start out. If you can repeat the same thing multiple times, you will eventually get better. Repetition is the key to mastering almost anything. There really isn't any other tips, to be honest. There might be some, but I don't think it will be that useful. Alright guys, see you in the next video.